Hello everybody, as always I am Dor, and today we're going to go ahead and begin Timberborn. So this is a city builder survival game where we are a bunch of beavers and we are going to go ahead and try and see if we can survive long enough to go ahead and make a decent dent in the research tree here. So right now we have some of the basic stuff unlocked. We need to go ahead and place down some pathways because if things are not connected to pathways, our beavers won't go to them for some reason. So we need to go ahead and lay out some pathway here. And then we need to go ahead and place down some of the worker things here. So we need to place down a lumberjack flag. That's going to allow us to hire a beaver to go ahead and work. So let's go ahead and plop down 2 of those right now. Can I plop another one down? I can plop a 3rd one down. There we go. Okay, cool. And once those 3 are done getting built, over in this screen on the left here, it'll tell us that we have 3 lumberjacks working for us. Currently, we have 5 unemployed people, so we need to go ahead and try and get them all squared away. But in order to have them cut down trees, they're not just going to go ahead and cut down any tree in the area. We have to actually set a zone for them to go ahead and harvest. So we're going to go ahead and toggle this area here if we can, and we're going to try and highlight the entire area here in one go. So that should be good. They will go ahead and go through this forest here and cut down all of the mature trees. They won't cut down the little ones because they're not able to harvest anything from them, I guess. And once those get matured, then they'll go back through and cut them down anyways. So it's not really any bad issue here. They don't currently plant their own trees again, so that's another thing that we have to research into to go ahead and replenish the forest here. But for right now, I think that's going to be more than enough wood for us to go ahead and get some buildings down. So with the lumber kind of squared away here, we need to go ahead and square their water away as well. So let's go ahead and plop down a water pump, and we need this connected into the road as well. So we'll probably drag the road out a little bit, and we'll have it go ahead and get connected into something like that for right now. That should be fine. And let's go ahead and drag a pathway to it. So let's go ahead and do that. And then can we turn it? No, we have to place it and then turn it. Okay. And now that we have a water pump down, we can go ahead and put a water tank next to it. That'll go ahead and store the water for us. I don't know if it has to be right next to this thing. I don't think it does, but we'll go ahead and just leave it there for right now. And we can also go ahead and unpause it now that we have some stuff down so they can go ahead and start building. So that should go ahead and help out a little bit here. So we have the lumberjacks down. We have the water pumps down. So we can go ahead and place down these things. These are gathering flags. They're pretty much just like the lumberjack things, except these guys go out and do their job without me having to highlight an area for them to go ahead and harvest from. So that's kind of good for us. So I'm going to go ahead and plop down 2 of these, and that way we have somebody going out and getting some source of food. So those guys, once they get built and employed, they are going to go ahead and head on over here to the berry bushes and gather up food for our beavers here. So that'll go ahead and help out a little bit. Next, we can go ahead and place down a storage thing. This is going to allow us to store logs instead of having to just leave them all on the ground here or just going into a building while they're being constructed. Since we're probably going to have these things get done getting built, we need somewhere for these to get stored. So let's go ahead and just plop that right here for right now. That should be kind of okay. And let's see what else. We got a warehouse. That's going to allow us to store the food, I believe. So we can go ahead and plop that down as well. And we will go ahead and plop that. Let's go ahead and plop it right across the street from the log storage thing. That should be good. Now, this building is also considered a solid building, so that means we can go ahead and stack things on top of that building if we wanted to go ahead and do that. Although right now, I don't think we have stairs unlocked. Yeah, currently stairs are locked. So I think if we were to stack buildings right now, the top one might not get built or not be able to get accessed. I'm not quite sure on that. So for right now, I'm not too worried about stacking buildings, but we can do that as we get the stairs and get later into the game here. We can go ahead and start stacking things and trying to maximize on space and stuff like that. So as this stuff's getting built here, we can go ahead and click on this left icon here. It's going to tell us the needs of our beavers here. Currently, we're somehow meeting 3 out of the 8 requirements here that unlocks the next level of difficulty in the game here. So we can go ahead and try and meet some of that right now. And we can go ahead and place down some social life stuff. So if we go to leisure, we can go ahead and place down a rooftop terrace, which can go on top of this thing, which is kind of cool. Or we can go ahead and place down a campfire, which is going to allow them to go ahead and meet up and like chit chat. So let's go ahead and plop that down right there. That should be fine. And then we can go ahead and try and meet some of their nutrition needs by placing down a farmhouse that's going to allow some of our beavers here to go ahead and farm. So let's plop that there. And then once that is done getting built, we can go ahead and place down some crop fields for these guys. So let's place down some carrots. We'll do 3 carrots, and then we'll do 3 potatoes, and we will do 3 wheat. And we'll see how that turns out here. We will go ahead and make like a dedicated farming thing at some point here, but right now that should be kind of good to go ahead and get things started. Let's also go ahead and place down some houses if we can. So we have lodges here, and the only difference between these two are the doors are flipped from the left side to the right side, so you can kind of lay out your buildings here in a way you want. So we're going to go ahead and drag the pathway out a little bit going this way, and then we will go ahead and place down the houses and stuff over on this side of the street. So let's go ahead and place down... How many people do we have right now? We have 11 beavers in our colony here. So let's go ahead and place down a few of these. I don't think there's anything that branches off of the building here, so I'm not too worried about cramming them next to each other. So that should be good. We can only store 3 of them in each of these houses. So let's go ahead and flip it and put another set of the houses on this side of the street. That should be good. That should be 12 people staying in these houses, right? Or 12 beavers staying in these houses, so we should be okay. Let's also go ahead and place down a science building while we wait for these other things to get built, just so we have it queued up and we can go ahead and start researching relatively early in the game here, unless it needs something that we don't have access to currently to go ahead and research, but hopefully not. Maybe it's just a thing that they need to work for. But we're going to go ahead and fast forward this so that the buildings and stuff will go ahead and get completed. I'm kind of curious what happens if we remove this thing, though. We have a barrier kind of blocking the water, and it looks like water might be able to go ahead and go in here. I think as we get water closer to areas that are not watered right now, they might turn green. So I'm kind of curious if that's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and demolish this thing, and once the beavers go ahead and get to it, we will go ahead and see, I guess, if some more of this area here turns green, because he's going right for it. So hopefully that's the case. And the water's flowing in, so maybe that'll happen. And yeah, it is indeed. Okay, cool. So it's making the area more green and lush here. So that's kind of good. I don't know if the beavers need to like live in a green area. I know the trees and stuff probably don't grow back if you don't have the water close by to kind of saturate the ground here to grow them back, but I'm not sure if it matters for the beavers themselves, if they're living in a dry area or whatnot. I know you can die from the dehydration and all that stuff as well. That's like a thing that you got to worry about. Make sure you have enough food, enough water and stuff for your beavers, but we're not there yet. We're relatively early into the game here, so if we die right now, that'll kind of not be great. I'm going to also go ahead and expand out the pathway here, because it looks like the further we go out, the more of the area we can actually interact with this thing at least. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it right there just to go ahead and see if now our gatherers will go ahead and go and collect these berries, because they collected these ones and they're not really seeming like they're going over here to collect those ones. So hopefully that fixes it. We do have a water issue right now where our beavers are saying they're thirsty, but there's water in this thing and this guy's pumping out water constantly. So I'm not quite sure why they're not drinking the water here. We have plenty of water in our thing as well. So hopefully that doesn't lead to us failing the game instantaneously here. But I'm going to go ahead and fast forward, like I said, and just let them go ahead and get these buildings and stuff built here so we can go ahead and do some more stuff. Okay, and with everything built, we can go ahead and click on the science building, and we generate science points by just having an employee in there producing science points over time here. So that'll come in handy. I don't know how we go about spending those now. Do we just click on stuff and it tells us? Okay, yeah, it does. It tells us that we need a certain amount on the bottom there. So we need 100 for the builder's huts. Is there anything that we can actually afford right now that we can buy with 3? I don't think so. These ones don't even have a number on them, so maybe we have enough to go ahead and unlock those. You need to unlock a forester to be able to go ahead and plant blueberries. Okay, so maybe not. Well, okay, so we at least have science points being generated. We can't buy anything that I can see right now for 3 points, so we need to let this thing run for a little bit to go ahead and generate a bunch more, but we have a way of buying into other items now. We also went ahead and hit level 5 on the well-being thing. We met all the requirement for the social life thing because of the little barbecue thing that we placed down, and the comfort thing as well because we have the houses down. So we can go ahead and try and complete some more of these right now as well. So we have fun, we have nutrition, we have knowledge, spirituality, and aesthetics, and then all as well. So let's see if any of these things go toward that. We don't currently have the ability to do any of the decoration stuff, so this might count toward the all stuff. Oh no, it tells us right there the aesthetics stat, so we can't do any of those right now. The only other leisure thing that we have available is going to count towards social life as well, so I'm not too worried about wasting the wood on that. We can go ahead and place down some power stuff, but those don't help us with any of the stats that we need right now to go ahead and rank that thing up. So I'm not too worried about placing those things down. And we don't really have any other options available for those things. We can go ahead and try and get nutrition with this thing, with the potatoes that we're growing. So let's go ahead and plop one of those things down next to the farmhouse, and that'll go ahead and turn the potatoes that we are producing into grilled potatoes apparently. So those will kind of help out with the nutrition stat at least. And I think that's all that we can place down right now. We have this thing, but that's only to help bring in stuff from the lumber area that we're cutting down. So I'm not too worried about that either. If we wanted to go ahead and get across the water here, we can go ahead and place down a dam, and that is our bridge to go ahead and get across here. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so I actually just realized that the gatherers that we have down don't actually have that much range. So their range actually ends right here. So this one was actually kind of useless. He didn't actually gather anything for us. And then the other one that we placed down is the only one that was gathering the berries from this area. I think is what's going on here. So right now we have our people kind of starving, so we need to go ahead and remove these ones because they're not doing anything for us, and we can go ahead and move them over here by the berry bush patches that we have down right now. I'm only going to place down one of them as well, and we'll see if that's going to be enough to go ahead and gather all the stuff in the area, and hopefully it is, so that way we can have the other employee go do something that they can go ahead and do. So like this place is probably going to need an employee, which we wouldn't have, I don't think, if we didn't just unemploy one of those guys right there. We can also go ahead and fire one of the other lumberjacks as well, because we don't really need 3 of them cutting down lumber anymore. We just needed a bunch of lumber to go ahead and get things going here, and it should just be good with the 2 of them there. So now this thing is done getting built. We should have food coming out of this in a few minutes. We need 30 potatoes. Never mind, that's going to take a little while because this stuff is still not grown, and they're all on different stages. Actually, not really. They're on the same stage pretty much. All right, a couple more things we can go ahead and place down to kind of make things cheaper for us to go ahead and build is one of these guys. This is going to allow us to turn the logs that we're producing into planks, and in order to have this thing run, we need 50 horsepower of electricity coming through the lines. So let's go ahead and place this thing here. That should be good. And then we need to go ahead and place down a source of power. So for right now, we can go ahead and either place down the power wheel, which is going to produce exactly 50 horsepower, or we can place down the water wheel, which is going to produce 180. So for right now, since this is the only thing that's going to need power, I kind of want to just go ahead and place down this one just to go ahead and kind of not overdo it with the power right now. So let's go ahead and place that there. And if we go ahead and go to the back side of it, it looks like we need to go ahead and connect the power into this thing. Although I don't know where the power needs to go with the main building here. I didn't see a thing when I went to place it down. Yeah, there's no thing on the side of the building here that tells me what it wants on the side of it. So maybe we just plug directly into it and that's good? I'm not quite sure. Let's see if we can go ahead and just turn right into it. And it looks like that might be the case here. And if we plug a straight one into it, that might go ahead and work right off the bat here. Let's go ahead and wait until that thing is done getting built, and maybe we can see if that's going to work. We already have a thing popping up. Okay, yeah, that should be fine. Once these guys go ahead and fix these 2 things up, it should hopefully connect to this thing, and it should work, hopefully. Okay, so we have the wheel and the axles completed. It looks like the axle connects into the lumber mill correctly, like it would actually produce power, but I don't know if it's because we don't have someone working in this building or the lumberjack building itself, that it still tells us that we don't have any power connected to it. So I'm not sure if there's a spot on the building we have to plug into, or it's just not telling us that it has power because we don't have anybody running on the wheel right now. So hopefully once we get enough people born into our colony here, we have enough employees to go ahead and run these 2 things right now. We're up to 14 people right now, and I think we started off with 11, so we've had a couple people born, so we're not just like staying stagnant right now. So it'll take a little while for them to go ahead and get generated, but hopefully at some point we'll go ahead and actually have people working in these things and we can see whether or not that's going to work. I went ahead and moved our lumber people over by 2 because they were right here, and if we were to click on them, they didn't have the radius that these guys do. So now these ones on the end of the road here actually have these trees in range. A second ago when they were over here, the trees here and the trees on that line were out of range, so they weren't actually getting harvested. They were just chilling there, even though they're within the range of our cut down highlight thing here. So now with those 2 on the side there, those are all getting cut down, and we have the whole area here being harvested, which is nice. I also went ahead and placed down one right here to go ahead and harvest the trees that are in this area as well, just so that we have some more lumber getting harvested, because once these things are all gone, I don't know how long it's going to take us to go ahead and unlock the ability to plant trees ourselves here. So we need the forestry building, which is going to be in this menu here, and we need 60 science points. So actually we'll have that in a minute here. Once we get a couple more science points from this thing, we should have enough to go ahead and unlock that building at least. So that's a good sign here. We also have our farmer over here harvesting the potatoes, so maybe we get something out of the grill building here in a minute. Do we have potatoes in here? We don't have potatoes in that thing. Do the potatoes go over here? The potatoes aren't going into the main building either. I don't know where the potatoes are going. We only have 4 of them apparently. No, we have 5 of them apparently. Which one's the potato? The potato's this one, right? Oh, we are getting grilled potatoes. Look at that. Okay, cool. So are the nutrition things going up? The nutrition things are kind of moving, but they're not going to go ahead and hit the max that we need them to. So that'll take us a little minute here to go ahead and get a handle on the farming. We might need to go ahead and make like a dedicated area with a bit more farmland than the 3 pieces each there. But there we go. We have 60 science points, so we can go ahead and unlock the forestry building. Let's go ahead and do that. That's going to unlock the ability to go ahead and place one of these things down. And it looks like we might need logs and planks to go ahead and build this building. So let me go ahead and plop it right here. That's going to be within range of all of the logs over there, right? Pretty much. So let's go ahead and plop that right there. That should be fine. And yeah, we do need logs and we need the planks. Okay, so that building is not actually going to get completed anytime soon until we get this stuff working, which I don't know how to move our workers around. Maybe this? Maybe if we go ahead and do that? No, that's not going to let me highlight that at all. How do I disable a building so they're not working in it anymore? I can't plus or minus them from working in it. The only way I can go ahead and do it, I guess that, right? That might work. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that works. Let's disable this one as well. Oops. And then can we enable this one to take the guy? There we go. Cool. Okay. And then we do that here as well. Is that going to work? We have to wait until daytime. Okay, so now that we have the power being produced, we have the lumber mill actually working now. So we have 1 plank or 1 log being turned into 1 plank. It takes about 30 seconds here for 1 plank to come out, but it's not that bad. Eventually this building will get completed, and then we can go ahead and lay out a forestry place. Oh, we don't have to waste science points on unlocking these things. Okay, cool. So we can place down a berry field if we want to go ahead and do that and kind of organize the area instead of having these 2 little patches over here. We can lay down a birch forest, a pine forest, or a maple forest, so that's cool. I don't know if there is a difference in the log type here. So the maple ones take 24 days to grow and they produce 8 logs. The pine ones produce 2 logs and take 12 days to grow, and the birch ones produce 1 log but only take 9 days to grow. So it's kind of which one you want to deal with longer to go ahead and get more wood out of it, I guess. I don't know if there's a difference in building material, like it takes longer for things to degrade or break or whatever happens with them. I'm not quite sure, but we might go ahead and set up 3 different types of forests then if that's the case, just to kind of have a different source of lumber being produced, so that way we have multiple areas we can go ahead and try and harvest from. I don't know what we do about the stumps in the ground here, because I think we can build over those, but I don't know if we have to like remove them with something and then replant. Can I do this? No, I can't cancel out the stumps. Can I just go ahead and replant over the top of these? So what's here right now? I think it's pine, right? Yeah, it's pine. So can we go ahead and plant more pine in this area? Yeah, okay, we can just go ahead and go right over the top of the stumps there. That's good, okay. Or actually, no. Look at that. It's still there. So I'm not sure what we do about that. But anyways, I think that's going to go ahead and be it for today's episode. So hope you guys enjoyed as always, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.